This is Roger Struckhoff, day 2 of CloudEXPO. I'm sitting here with Scott Jeschonek in Santa Clara, California. He's from Avere Systems. He's based in Pittsburgh, but that doesn't really matter because, you know, in the cloud, everything is everywhere. And welcome. And what he'd like to talk about actually has to do with location, moving data around in the cloud, which not that easy. Again, welcome and tell everyone what you do and why it's important.
Oh, thanks, Roger. Hi, everybody. So Avere Systems deals with data performance optimization in the cloud or on-premise. So if, our classic use case was you're running in a data center with a lot of compute nodes and you're, for lack of a better term, beating up your network attached storage, out matching it. And so Avere had some technological innovations earlier this past decade that allowed you to do read ahead and write behind caching of workloads against those compute environments, and that made performance go up. And so we were very successful in certain verticals like media and entertainment. But then came the cloud, and everybody wanted to, how do we use the cloud? What do we use the cloud for? And even to this day, many organizations struggle with what we call the problem of data gravity. Where should I put the data? Because the data dictates ultimately where the jobs are going to run.
Yeah, and there's a lot of it, and it's growing.
Absolutely. And so, with the advent of Internet of Things technologies and automobiles that are sending, terabytes of sensor data every time, it's a real challenge. And so Avere innovated again and came up with some technology in addition to the caching that we call basically a cloud NAS environment. And that enables you to basically push data as close to the compute environment as you possibly can without necessarily having to commit all the data into one location, right? I can have my network attached storage sitting in my data center. I can then start using Amazon or start using Google or Microsoft without necessarily having to commit moving everything into the cloud or to wait until the organization decides they're okay with it, right?
My wife and I just bought this new Toyota thingy, and it's got radar. And so cruise control now is not your old cruise control. You set it, and the radar finds stuff, and it slows you down, and it speeds you up. Now, it's not communicating that, but it's digital. It's communicating something's going on inside that car. And my first instinct is just let me drive the car. But the reality, because I'm an old guy, but the reality is it works. It's great once you get the hang of it. And I'm kind of seeing the future of connected cars because it's if everybody's doing that, the traffic is going to flow a lot smoother. And we just took a couple long trips, and all I'm doing is just steering the thing.
Yeah.
And I got to be a little alert, but and it's fantastic. And so that's my little old man's view of kind of connectivity that we're getting to, and the amount of data that's going to be flowing. And if you're responsible for it, yeah, you got to kind of decide, right, how much you're moving and where you're moving, and it's not just all the same.
Well, Roger, that's exactly the point. And in fact, that points to an issue we call data resolution. So today, your autonomous car uses something called LiDAR, and that's continuously scanning and gathering. It's pretty low resolution today. That's why they're not taking over the world. But you can see a day where you have this high resolution LiDAR, you have all of the sensors for braking and other things going on, but then I can also see a day where the car itself is watching you. Now, as frightening as that might sound, and gathering data on you, and heaven forbid, maybe even advertising to you while you're going past certain stores, and all of that data is just going to create terabytes and terabytes of data that every time you go to the garage or you go home and plug in, that data is going to be uploaded to the computer, and then you have to process it.
It's also affecting the value of your car because you can't say, I just drove it like a little old lady to the store and back. It's like, we got the data, dude. It says, you've been abusing this thing, and your insurance rates too. And so, the cars are already like ratting us out. But and the thing is, I won't be around for a lot of this ultimately. Young people seem to accept it. It's like whatever you grow up with, you accept. And so I could see a generation. Anyway, in the data, it's terabytes and petabytes and exabytes and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and then once you have the data, you have to put it somewhere, and then once you put it somewhere, you have to process it. And so Avere plays in that space of helping you figure out where you want to put the data. Maybe I want to put some in the cloud, and I want to keep some on a local NAS environment for pre-processing. But then more importantly, once it's somewhere, I need to process that data. And so Avere allows you to do this read-ahead and right-behind caching against data that might be in 4 or 5 different locations and get results from it. Because at the end of the day, the power of collecting all of that data is being able to program responses back into whatever it is, whether it's a car or an IoT device or something like that. And so that's the space, and it's really an exciting time. And yes, I am worried about my insurance company as well. So yeah,
you better learn to drive right. What I was thinking beyond that was, do you have to tell your customers sometimes what they want to do with the data? They may have and not to be insulting at all, they may know what they want to do, but do you have kind of insights for them, or are they telling you, look, we want to do this and this and this, and you tell them, oh yeah, we can do that?
No, Avere stays out of the knowledge of what the data is. We're about performance and moving the data around. Happily.
Happily. How do they find you? Avere, what's your URL?
You go to www.averesystems.com. That's Avere, A-V-E-R-E systems.com. You'll find our information.
And everything you want to find. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for watching. For Syscon TV, this is Roger Struckoff.